Right, good evening guys and welcome back to Carp TV. You're joining me today down in my Kent Carp Syndicate and it's now the first week of June. Now just a little update, didn't manage to get out through May. Unfortunately I suffer bad with gallbladder disease and I've had a really bad month of health. But we're going to move on swiftly from that because this isn't a feel sorry for Tony vlog, this is a carp fishing vlog. So I'm going to keep this current, but it's more to say why I haven't been out. I haven't been out weekly blanking and not putting vlogs up. It's not really how it works for me, it's just not been out. Now the last session out that I had was April, end of April coming into the bank holiday weekend of May, and I actually managed 4 incredible fish. It was a really good session and there would have been a full-on vlog about it, but I broke my camera. I dropped it in the drink on this session before that where I had the 43-pound mirror and yeah, totally knackered. So I tried to do some audio on the fish and it weren't having it. So I had to compromise. And I've done some footage of the fish, but with no talking. So I'm just going to try and break this down by talking about them, and I'm going to overdub the footage as I speak. So the first bit of action I had on the session didn't come for about 24 hours. And it was strangely, in an hour and a half space, it was carnage. I had 4 fish, and then it just totally went dead, knocked on the head again. Very odd. Not something that's happened often for me. I never really have a massive lull in the action and then a quick hit and then gone again. Probably does happen, but it's not something that I've really found, especially on this lake here. But the first fish I had, like I said, after about 24 hours, I had a 30-pound common, which was absolutely mega. It was long, lean, really dark scales. It just looked prehistoric, to be honest. It's absolutely fantastic looking carp. This was followed up by a nice 22.5-pound scaley mirror, pretty much a fully scaled, really cracking fish again. And straight away, pretty much after getting that one back, I had a 32-pound mirror, proper dumpy, big old belly on it, round like a football. It definitely likes this grub. And that was followed up next and last by a really old gnarly looking creature. It was, I think it was just under 30 pound. And had like a hunchback over the top, and it was really dark, like almost like a purpley dark colour to it, with right old withered fins. Cool fish. To be honest, 4 mega carp, so it turned out to be a really great session for me. It was just a shame that the mic was buggered. And at a mega cost of about 200 quid for a mic that I dropped in the drink. But I've managed to get myself a new one now. And this vlog, hopefully we can continue along with the action. So this time round I'm down in swim 3, which is up the left side of the lake, let's call it. Most of this area, about 4.5 foot depth. And it's uniform. There's a bit of silt out there. We've got some gravel bars, got some hard clay areas. There's quite a lot going on out there, but it's most of the depths, etc. It's all pretty level, 4.5 foot. Now, as you can see, it's going to be dark any second because I got here really late. My own stupid fault. But we're going to hope for a bite through the night. This swim primarily does tend to do bites between the hours of midnight through to 6-7 in the morning. I know it sounds strange to say that, but it just tends to be that sort of swim. I don't know whether they just like to migrate down here at night because they feel comfy or something, but it's always been known as a good night bite swim. Now all that leaves is me to get all my gear up, because we're going to be dark in about 20 minutes I reckon, and I haven't even got nothing sorted. So I'll catch up with you in the morning guys, if I don't have one in the night, but hopefully I'm going to have one in the night, and it'll be a big chunky old Kent carp. Don't forget, if you do like the vlogs guys, please do subscribe to the channel, because we do have content coming sort of weekly. Missing the odd week now and again. If no one's been out, then I've got nothing to film, so it's just the way it goes. But cheers, thanks very much guys, and I'll catch up with you soon. Well guys, it's now the first thing in the morning, and I managed to put the net under this, just under the £30 mark. A proper character of a common. I think I've had this one before, to be honest, in the past. I just remember this very, very odd body shape of a fish. But still, very welcome visitor. Can't be bad on a quick overnight. And yeah, happy days. Well, it's a very, very strange fish to hold. Sort of shaped a little bit like a seahorse, this one. But like I said, it's still a very welcome visitor. Well guys, so rod ripped off, had a bit of a battle in the old choppy water, and I just managed this lovely mirror at £28. Proper cracking fish, it's very spawned out, so this one's definitely usually one of the 30s, but it's definitely dropped its load. So, but a mega fish, absolutely mega scale pattern on it. So happy days. Let's turn it around and have a look at the other side. Yeah, as you can see, mega looking mirror. So proper looker, some beautiful scales on it. And yeah, £28. I'm gonna guess this one's usually probably around the £33, £34 mark. But that's it, once they spawn, they're gonna lose that weight. So it is what it is. I'm still happy. It's another fish on the bank and I'm out of here in about an hour's time. So proper result. Right guys, time for a little update now. It's about 2 hours till I'm off out of here, and then my 24 hours on the pond's up. Managed 2 fish, which is cracking. That little common, just under 30, and a nice £28 mirror. The £28 mirror I recognise actually. It's a fish, it's called Bang On, I'm pretty sure. Bang On mirror they call it, and it's usually a mid-30 fish. But obviously it's spawned out. To be fair, it looks a bit battered. I think them naughty males have had their wicked way enough with it. It's definitely got some war wounds from it. So now, baiting approach that I've been using on this session, nothing really changes from what I do on here. Pretty much the same the whole time I've been fishing it. I use Baitworks Creamino. It's done me loads of fish on here. I've got the utmost confidence in it, and unless something dramatic happens, I ain't going to change that for fishing here. Now I do use the marine sometimes. Other lakes that I fish, I tend to use marine. Some fisheries I just find they're more tuned into that fishy bait, whereas on here my own feedback I get is that they're tuned into the creamy stuff. Now I'm applying the Cremino boilies. These are the shelf life version, and I'm just sticking these out over a spread of area. I'm not fishing far out at all. I'm fishing 8.5 wraps at max distance. You don't need to fish too far in this swim. They tend to get in here quite close in, especially evening, early morning. And I'm also feeding them some Cremino pellet. I do go through a lot of this. I definitely go through more boilie. Now, boilie crumb and crushed up boilies with my fingers, definitely my main approach. But I like to put a little bit of pellet when I'm dropping off the rigs, because I'm using a boat here. I'm using a RT4, and I'm just dropping the rigs off with a little bit of pellet and then sticking the boilie around them for a spread. I just find that this way works. The areas I'm fishing, there's quite a bit of weed around it. So what I'm sort of looking for is I've been looking for a nice clearing in the weed, and I want to drop the rig directly in that clearing and get them in their comfort zone, let's say. About a year ago, I started using a new main line. It was called Katran Krypton, and I got it in a 21 pound. I loaded up the spools, and then I went off to fish at Yateley Pads Lake, where I actually managed to have the biggest fish in there at 42 pound, but that was a spawned out weight, but it's a fish known as raise fish. So that was an absolutely mega result. I was more than elated. And from that day is the day that I started using it, and I haven't gone back since. So this line, Krypton, is an absolutely incredible line. It does everything I need it to do. It's strong. So I am fishing a weedy lake, and if you get into the sort of height of summer usually on here, the weed is really, really bad. I mean, it does get pretty bad. So you need a strong line to deal with that. Also, there's a fair few snags about around the lake, and especially most of the swims I tend to like, I tend to end up fishing the snaggy swims. So you do need that strength. It also is highly abrasion resistant, so if you've got any snags out there in the water, or if you've got any sort of severe gravel humps, it's going to help because you've got that abrasion resistance in the line. It sinks like a brick, so there's no worries about sinking on the main line, and it casts a dream. So some of you lads are big casters, or you're fishing places where you're going to have to hit mega distances. If you watch a vlog, about 4 vlogs back I think it is, on the Carp Fishing channel, you'll see Richard Isle's vlog, and he's put in the Katran 21 pound Krypton, 45 wraps, straight through, no leader. So very, very impressive to watch. I was there filming it, and it's actually unreal that you can do that with a 21 pound line straight through, to be honest. So that sort of speaks volumes for me on that. Now the main perk, let's call it as well, for Krypton is that you shine a blue headlamp on it at night, and it's got this technology where it will glow up yellow, like a bright luminous yellow. Until you start using the line, you probably won't see the benefits by me telling you or someone telling you about it, but once you start using it, it sort of comes into its own. You'll see that if you look at the tip of your rods after you get an occurrence in the middle of the night, just a quick glance with your head torch on, and you can see if you've been done, you can see if your line's changed direction, you can see any occurrences just with a quick flick of the switch. Now, if you plan a fish in the middle of the night, we know that can be a bit annoying because you rely on everything on feel. But again, having the blue headlamp on, quick shine up at the tip of your rods, and you'll be able to see which way the fish is taking you, so you can deal with that accordingly. So a brilliant line. I've been using it for a year now. I really can't fault it, and I'm not just telling you it to try and sell you it. I would recommend this to everyone that I know, and I do recommend it to everyone I know. And to be fair, a lot of the lads now that I know on my waters that I'm on, they've even switched over to it. A few of the Carp boys have switched over to it. It's just a really, really good main line. It's definitely worth looking at. So since that moment anyway, I started using some more Katran products, and I thought this is probably the best time I can take to talk to you about it. Now, majority of the time, the rigs I tend to use, I don't change them too much. I tend to really like using a stiff hinge or a multi-hinge rig. I also like a D-rig. So both of them rigs will use, the majority component will be a fluorocarbon. Now when I'm using a fluorocarbon, I need it to be a very, very strong, something flew in my mouth, a very, very strong fluorocarbon, and it needs to really kick out, so it has to be proper rigid. That's really what I look for when I'm picking out a hook link. So when you're using a stiff hinge or a multi-hinge, you're relying there, as the lead hits the water, the boom will kick out, and you're going to be tangle free as you drop to the bottom. Now the Katran, they have a fluorocarbon hook link, and it's called Phantom. So this is what I've been using now for all of my stiff hinged, multi-hinge rigs, also my D rigs, and I absolutely love the stuff. It's an absolutely brilliant hook link. And if you're looking for a supple hook link, don't use this. This isn't a supple fluorocarbon link. This is one that's going to give you a mega boom, and it's going to just straighten out with ease. To be fair, you don't even need to kettle steam this. You can literally take 2 puller tools, pull it out with a good bit of welly, and you've got a nice straight boom section. So that's pretty much the majority of my rigs are going to be tied up with that. But if I am switching over and I decide I need to change tactics, I might want to tie myself up a blowback or a standard sort of wafter rig for the bottom, is the Tarantula. So the Tarantula by Katran is a coated braid. This one's the 25-pound version, and it's the black. I tend to really like the dark coated hook links. I know there's probably going to be times you don't want it dark, you want to go for more of a lighter, like a gravel colour if you're fishing on gravel. But to be fair, it's not something I really worry about. If I'm fishing on gravel, I'll use fluorocarbon line, like I talked about previously. I'll even use a black. It's not something that I look into too much. Others will, and each to their own, but for me, it's not something I look at much. But I tend to like the black, like I said. I find that for tying up wafter rigs or for a blowback rig, then Tarantula is definitely my go-to. The lack of memory in this hook link is absolutely fantastic. As you pull it off the spool, I'll show you now. Hopefully you can get a nice view of it. Probably a little bit far away, but as I reel that off the spool now, you can see there's literally no memory to that. It's coming off dead straight. There's no coiling whatsoever. Just straighten that by hand, and you can see it's mega straight. If I put it over there, you might see it better. But when you're tying up a nice little wafter or blowback rig, just to be able to not have any coiling in it, straight from the go without having to worry about steaming it, I find that's another time saver, and that time could equal a fish. So for me, a bit of a winner chicken dinner. So yeah, that's another one I tend to use. Now there's a few others that they do in the range. Now if you're a bag angler, you like using PVA bags, then they do the Enduro. I find this is fine for me for bags. It's not as soft and silky as, say, some of the other hook links out there for bags, but I don't want it too supple. I like a little bit of kick in it. So it isn't overly rigid. It's not rigid at all, but it's enough for me for a PVA bag use. So if you just want a normal braided hook link that you can use in a bag, then the Enduro is definitely worth a shout. Right guys, well that's the end of my session unfortunately. 24 hours is up and it's time for me to get my arse home. And hopefully you've enjoyed the vlog, even though it's a bit of a short one. And if you have, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. We're bringing out more content all the time. There's a couple of videos recently, one from Aaron Dodd, fishing on his raw carp vlogging series on Thorny Weir. And Simon Gray has documented his trip to France for his holiday fishing. So yeah, subscribe to the channel and we'll keep bringing out some more content in the future. If you're interested in any of the products that are listed in the video from Katran, you can check them out at riglocker.co.uk, who's the UK distributor and channel for Katran products. All the best guys, take care of yourself, see you on the next one.